we have a real belief in rotating guys, and that was a big positive for us last year. And really that's why the first unit we're very optimistic about, because they played so much last year. Now we've got to develop another group to be able to come behind that new first group. And, they're working very hard, but that's going to be a big key for us.
Greg, what have you noticed out of Rashawn, like mentality-wise and intelligence-wise?
Well, Rashawn, Rashawn comes out every day like he's a senior, and he's done that throughout the winter conditioning. He's really, he came off this last season, and I really think it had a lot to do with Taco and Chris Wormley, the way they mentored him, and they set a great example for what you have to do to be successful. And Rashawn is a tremendously talented young man. He's got great character, and he just stepped forward from the start of conditioning to right into spring practice. Every day he comes out and tries to lead by example, and you would never be able to tell that the young man is going into his sophomore year. He's having a real good spring.
He said that he was looking forward to nitpicking himself a little bit more. He said he was hitting the film a lot harder, rather. What have you noticed about him in that aspect?
No question, he has, and that's why I say he acts almost like he's a senior. A lot of times when you're a sophomore coming off a good season, as a freshman, you kind of, okay, I got it. But he was really critical of himself. He listens to every coaching point, and when that happens, you've got a special young man, and he leads the other guys by that. They see him doing some really, really athletic things on the field, and they watch him do it, and all of a sudden that's like somebody saying, this is how you do it. And he's been a very good example for everybody.
What's the ceiling for him and Mo lining up next to each other?
Yeah, that's we're excited about that. Both of them have played a lot of football and are very, very explosive. They give us a great deal of speed and quickness. And Mo Hurst again is a fifth-year player now that's played a lot of football here, and it's time for him to really reap the benefits of all he's done and take it the next step farther. And he showed that also this spring. So I'm excited about Mo.
How important is his role, Monet's role, and Ethan Winovich's role going to be, given that this is such a young group behind them?
Very, very important, because unlike them last year when they were right there behind that first group, now they're there and there's a group of guys that haven't played, so there's a little bigger gap. So they have to always show the right way to do it. It can't be, now that's okay. It's got to be right. It's got to be championship type effort. It's got to be championship technique, and they understand that. The spotlight's on them a little bit more, because there's a real young group behind them.
Some great athletes don't become great football players. That's not an area of concern with Rashawn, probably, right? Have you seen enough from him to know that he's going to be a great player?
Yeah, because he has it inside. You're right. There have been some really, really outstanding athletes, but maybe when it comes to game time, they don't do what their athleticism shows. Well, he showed. Again, I keep going back to winter conditioning. It's a small thing, but when you have a guy that is 6'5", 285 pounds, that leads the sprints and leads the conditioning and leads it and does everything the way he's supposed to do it, and now you've got something special happening. And he's that's what he's shown. And Mo's been the same way. And Winovich and Brian Monet. The four of them have really, really tried to show that. And they have to keep doing it.
Right, one thing you mentioned each year, you have to build depth in your defensive line. Something that's a constant every year. But what's different? What's the key this year for building depth in this defensive line group?
Well, I think the biggest thing in the depth is that these guys behind them have to move faster towards that level than the last group did. The last group had been right on that verge, and then they were that. This group hasn't been getting the playing time. They've been out redshirted or they've been freshmen, so they haven't really been on that field. So they've got to take a bigger step to get up to that level to be able to rotate. And we always talk about you earn the right to rotate. You know, two things can happen. If you don't earn the right to rotate, now you've got 4 guys playing the whole time, and they're never going to play as good as if you have guys to rotate for them. And so that's a big thing for us, that some of these guys behind them have got to close that gap fast, and they're working at it.
Now the group has started to step up this spring.
Yeah, Carlo Kemp has had a very, very good spring. And we kind of thought that last year when he came in early, but I would say Carlo Kemp has been one who has really showed some things. You know, he shows that he has the ability, and now he's got to do it every play, every day. You know, and that's usually the thing that separates people, the ones that can show it, but then there's a day off where they don't. You know, where you got to do it every day, every play, and I think he's understanding that. You know, we got a couple other young kids that show they have talent. Donovan Jeter has showed some things. You know, he showed us that he can do some things. You know, and you know, I think those are the 2 guys really that kind of have stepped forward at times. You know, and now we've got to bring some of the other guys along.
Who are some of the guys vying for the tackle positions inside?
Lawrence Marshall, Ron Johnson, Carl Myers has shown some signs at times, you know, and we just got to get the consistency. Mark Dwumfor has shown some things too. I mean, he did some things in practice today where you can see his athleticism, his movement, you know, so he's another one we'll be counting on, you know, and you know, they're the ones that have really shown the most.
With Chase, how much development have you seen out of him in the last year? You know, having that full season of experience last year playing at that spot.
Chase has got a lot more confidence. He's got a lot stronger, and I think he understands the position way better. You know, Chase started out as a defensive player his freshman year, then was moved to tight end, and then at the end, going into the bowl game 2 years ago, we moved him back, and then all last year he played. So this is really only his second year playing the defensive end position, and he's shown some really good things.
Seems to be more of an every down fit now.
Oh yeah,
with,
no
you know,
question.
not just kind of
No
a specialist.
question. He's so much stronger. You know, he's so much stronger physically than he was. You know, and I think he's gained some weight. He's kept his speed. You know, so he's going to be. I think he's going to be what we're looking for.